Yo, let's get right into it. I'm not saying they need Roman Reigns, but you can't go one show without Roman Reigns coming up. Okay. Somebody just follow me, subscribe to me 4 minutes ago. Ari, Ari. Appreciate you, Ari. I think she probably followed due to my shorts videos. I just upload the shorts. Also I just saw that they subscribe. That wasn't in my dialogue. I was just looking down and I saw it. So that wasn't planned. Anyways, let's get right into it.
WWE's Roman Reigns problem isn't just a booking misfire, it's a creative identity crisis. For nearly 4 years, Reigns was the axis on which WWE revolved. He was the needle mover, the tribal chief, the man who merged cinematic storytelling with a world title reign that became the backbone of the company's modern era. But ever since WrestleMania 41, WWE has found itself in an unfamiliar position, a Roman Reigns without purpose, a character no longer driving the narrative but awkwardly floating in limbo. His status as a mainstay attraction remains, but the engine of momentum behind him has completely stalled, largely due to creative indecision, narrative cowardice, and a glaring mishandling of what should have been the most important betrayal in modern wrestling. The problem isn't that Reigns lost the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. That was inevitable. No one holds a title forever. The issue is how he lost it, who he lost it to, and what WWE has done, or more importantly, hasn't done, with the fallout. At WrestleMania 41, fans witnessed something seismic. Paul Heyman, the wise man, the man who spent nearly 4 years orchestrating the Tribal Chief's dominance, stabbed Roman Reigns in the back and aligned with Seth Rollins. On paper, that should have been the single most significant betrayal WWE has booked since Seth turned on the Shield. In practice, WWE moved past it within weeks, as if it were a subplot in a mid-card feud. There was no explanation, no follow-up promo from Roman, no revenge arc, and no indication that the company even understood the gravity of what they had just pulled off. Instead, Reigns was yanked from the title picture entirely, and all attention pivoted to CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Roman, for all his accomplishments and storyline heft, became a ghost. Not the kind that haunts, but the kind that's forgotten. Reigns should never have become an afterthought, not after a run that rewrote the rules of how a heel champion could operate in WWE. From 2020 onward, Roman Reigns was the most consistent long-term character WWE had built in decades. Every victory meant something. Every opponent had to adapt to survive. His matches weren't just contests. They were power struggles built on psychological warfare, bloodline drama, and palpable tension. That kind of storytelling demands a satisfying conclusion, or at least a compelling next chapter. Instead, WrestleMania 41 gave us a shocking twist and then shrugged its shoulders. The Paul Heyman betrayal alone should have redefined WWE's power structure. For Heyman to turn his back on Roman Reigns wasn't just a plot development, it was an admission that the empire they built had collapsed. It should have sparked a war, a crisis of leadership, a redemption journey, or a vengeful spiral, but none of that happened. Reigns has made rare appearances since, mostly disconnected from the main event scene, never really confronting Heyman, Rollins, or even the idea that his kingdom crumbled from within. The very man who shaped the tribal chief into an unstoppable force betrayed him on the grandest stage, and WWE had nothing to say about it. The triple threat dynamic between CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns was the natural evolution for WWE's main event ecosystem. Three titans of the last 2 decades, each with a history of betrayal, manipulation, and ideological differences, were finally positioned to collide. And yet, WWE couldn't, or wouldn't, lean into that. Roman's involvement in the storyline has been minimal, even passive. He's there in theory, but not in execution. Punk and Rollins have dominated the screen time, the promos, and the stakes. Roman is either absent or treated like a relic, as though the company doesn't know how to integrate his mythos into the current direction. The failure to capitalize on Roman's story post-WrestleMania exposes a deeper truth. WWE doesn't have a plan for him anymore. His title reign consumed all creative oxygen for so long that without the championship, WWE seemingly doesn't know what Roman is supposed to be. They've spent years telling fans that Roman Reigns is the sun around which the WWE universe revolves. But now that the sun has dimmed, they're fumbling in the dark, hoping something else shines instead. WWE could have built the next arc around Roman's downfall and subsequent resurrection. Imagine a Roman Reigns stripped of everything: title, family, wise man, forced to reckon with the man beneath the tribal chief persona. Instead of exploring that vulnerability or constructing a new layer to his character, WWE simply parked him in narrative purgatory, a once-in-a-generation character rendered voiceless by indecision. Even his bloodline ties feel aimless now. Solo Sikoa has stepped into a leadership role, but WWE hasn't clearly established whether Roman endorses forces this shift or resents it. There's no internal conflict, no tension, just vague teases with no delivery. Jey Uso is off doing his own thing on Raw, Jimmy is in and out of the picture, and the family empire Roman built has cracked into fragments without any reaction from its architect. The Bloodline was once a faction rooted in loyalty, manipulation, and family honor. Now it's a collection of disconnected characters wandering in creative limbo, with Roman, the heart of the story, missing in action emotionally and narratively. It's not a question of Roman being overexposed either. WWE fans haven't tired of him. They've waited for him, they've chanted his name at shows he's not on, they've speculated about what he'll do next, they've debated how the betrayal would change him. But when you offer no answers, no perspective, and no forward motion, the audience eventually stops asking the questions. Roman's current status in WWE isn't mystique, it's abandonment. There was also a missed opportunity to humanize Roman post-betrayal. After years of being untouchable, watching his empire fall should have humbled or infuriated him. WWE could have crafted a revenge story against Paul Heyman that echoed the deep emotional storytelling of Roman vs. Jey or Roman vs. Sami Zayn. Instead, it was forgotten by the next episode of Raw. That silence speaks volumes. WWE either doesn't know how to book Roman without a title, or they're scared to reveal what happens when he loses everything. WWE has always struggled with transition periods for their top stars. When John Cena's reign of dominance ended, they pivoted too slowly. When The Undertaker lost his streak, the fallout was underwhelming. Roman's situation is different because he was the company's answer to all those transitional failures. They finally figured out how to make a long-term main event character work, and now that it's over, they're once again stumbling, unsure how to move forward. The truth is, Roman Reigns is too layered a character to be used sparingly without a plan. Unlike part-timers of the past, Reigns' story was built on week-to-week tension, family drama, and slow burn manipulation. He's not Brock Lesnar, whose appeal thrives on chaos and unpredictability. Roman thrives on control, presence, and emotional stakes. Removing him from the narrative without resolution doesn't protect his aura, it dilutes it. Every week he's off television without closure. Fans lose a little more investment in what made the tribal chief special. Then there's the matter of Heyman himself. He hasn't explained his betrayal in any meaningful way. No monologue, no backstage sit-down, no segment that attempts to rationalize turning his back on Roman after years of worshiping him as the head of the table. For a character as verbose and manipulative as Heyman, that silence is deafening. His alliance with Rollins feels unearned, lacking the emotional depth that defined his relationship with Reigns. Without that context, Heyman's turn becomes a wasted moment instead of a paradigm shift. WWE has a Roman Reigns problem, not because Roman failed the company, but because the company failed to evolve with him. They had every
Alright, we get it. Damn. Justice for Roman, man. Hopefully he comes back soon. We want Roman.